Hi, I haven't done a video since about the acclimation day. And I have very exciting news. Today was day 7 of my training, also known as assessment day, and I was very nervous. I had to wake up at like 5:30 this morning. Yeah, it was exhausting. But let's start from the beginning of my day. So I wake up and I had a friend who was also assessing. Her name's Lindsay, and she picked me up from my house and apartment, and she drove me to the lovely Animal Kingdom. Where once we got there, I discovered I had forgotten my ID card. Now, the thing about our Disney ID cards is that can't get in to backstage if you don't have your Disney ID. So I had to call security and I was like, do I really have to go all the way back home, making me late to my assessment to get my ID and then come all the way back here? And they're like, no, well, by this time, do you know your Disney ID number? Which, by the way, I didn't know it. But I guessed it and God miraculously let me be right. So this lovely thing put me through a lot of stress. Yeah, I was like, luckily we got there 15 minutes early, and so um, yeah, I got in time. It was quite scary though. But yeah, so I get there and my assessor was Dave, which, by the way, Dave has been there at Kilimanjaro Safari the longest than any other person, so he has his way and he likes his way, making him the harder assessor there. I believe that's one of my own opinions, so it could be wrong, but yeah. But we went out. We did the driving. We did dock or what's it called? Departure. We did departure 1, which is like an easy departure. It's just regular, normal guests and parking and everything. And I did fabulous, might I say. Then we went around again and we did departure 3, which is the wheelchair departure. So it's a little bit harder. It takes longer. You have the guests for a longer time, and it's harder because you have to be careful driving more so. But I aced that. Apart from, we went by the Ankoli cattle, which has huge horns, by the way. And I like froze, and they were far out in the distance because there's like 6 or 7 other different animals like in front of them, and I was like, how am I going to point out the Ankoli cattle, because I had to for my assessment. But how am I going to do that and like have the guests know who they are? And so I was just like, if you guys look out to your right, you will see the brown antelope that have a field goal on the top of their head because they have huge horns. And I continued with my spiel, and I was just like, their horns can get up to 6 feet tall and have a circumference of 20 inches. And my sister was like looking at me, and he's like, what did you just say? And then like I had to pull over after I dropped off the guests, and then he was just like, don't say that. And I was like, okay. But again, he's strict, so I might still say it. But yeah. So after that, we went into the break room, which is this big like lunchroom area with a bunch of other drivers from Kilimanjaro Safaris. Because, by the way, it takes about 100 people to run Kilimanjaro Safaris. There has to constantly be about 100 people there, so very, very busy break room. 15 minutes every like 2 hours, so it was busy. But my assessor goes on the intercom, because there's an intercom that goes over the entire place, and he goes, congratulations to our newest Safari member, Rebecca Lloyd, and everyone clapped. And then everyone like in the lunchroom was just like, strip, 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 and they started cheering. But what they're referring to, they were not referring to my clothes, they were referring to my name tag, because this stupid thing has been hanging off of it for the past 7 days, and I hate it because everyone looks at you and they're like, oh, you're a trainee, you don't know anything, and they always like are like, you do everything wrong and you're a newbie, and yeah, it's a pain. So I was just like, I was bowing and I was like, thank you, and they're like, strip. And so I like took off my name tag and I like made it this big deal. So I have my ears now. I'm no longer earning them, which is exciting news. So there's that. And then the rest of the day, like after that, we went to lunch, and then the rest of the day we spent on land positions, which is departure 1 and 2, departure 3, which is the wheelchairs, cheers 1 and 2, which is like unloading docks, and then car 1 and 2, which is the stroller parking, and booking and check-in, which is the fast passes, like the fast pass entrance and fast passes, and then also info guide, which is the very, very front of the house. So I have many different roles, but the thing is 90% of my job is driving and doing my spiel on the truck. And then the last 10% of my job is working the land positions. So I'm hardly ever doing the land positions, but you still have to know it in order to be a, like, Kilimanjaro Safari. So then after that, after lunch, I got a gift. It's a lunch bag, and it says 2010 Animal Kingdom. It's not 2010, so they are obviously had a lot of these that they're just now giving out. So yeah, can tell I spent a lot of money on it. And then at the end of my day, since I also took my assessment, which was written test, which was grueling. It took like 2 hours. It was awful. So long. It was like 80 questions. But the good thing is I didn't miss a single question. I got 100%. So I'm amazing. I know everything there needs to know for evacuations. I'm the person to come to. However, I might freak out and scream and totally forget everything. But then at the end of my day, I got this is my certificate saying that I officially work at the Kilimanjaro Safaris. It says, congratulations to Rebecca Lloyd for the successful completion of Kilimanjaro Safari training. Then that's my guest service manager signature. So that's super exciting. I'm going to keep this forever. Sadly, though, we each had a binder, and it had like all of our training information, and my binder, like on the edge of it, said like Rebecca Lloyd Kilimanjaro Safari, and it had like the Animal Kingdom symbol, and it was really cute, and I kept it, but I didn't make it home with me. I don't know what happened to it, so that's sad. But that's about the end of my story. Sorry I've been rambling for 7 minutes. If you've made it to this point, thanks for sitting through it. But yeah, so very, very, very excited about all this. Tomorrow's my first day. I work about 8 hours, I think. I work 10 to... It's all in military time, so I'm trying to figure out right now in my head. I think like 10 to 6. I'm not all sure what time I get off, actually. But yeah, I'm very, very nervous about it, more so than I was today, because it's the first time on my own, and I feel like I'm going to get in an accident or pop a tire or have to reverse, which is a whole scenario. So pray for me, wish me luck, whatever you do. So bye. Thanks for tuning in to my awkward webcast. But I'm officially a trained cast member. Yay.